Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident podcast. It is a weekly chat about socially conscious topics. Today we have a special guest, Simbaza from the Simbaza podcast, who joined us last week. If you were with us, and he has joined us for a Black History Challenge. So we'd like to say welcome to Simbaza.
Oh, thank you. This is Sambaza with the Sambaza podcast, and glad to be here and enjoying this Black History Month challenge that we're having with our Work by Accident host. That's Jen.
Definitely. And we appreciate you for joining us and being a good sport and, just kind of bouncing this
Well,
idea around and making it come into fruition because it did kind of birth out of a brainstorming session. And you said, hey, let's do it. So,
right.
yeah, thanks for being a willing participant. So, today we have a special episode in honor of Black History Month, of course, and Valentine's Day. So we're going to dive into the world of Black love, exploring the stories and dynamic couples who have not only captured our hearts but have also played a significant role in shaping history. So as we celebrate the power, resilience, and beauty of Black love, join us and we challenge you to dig into some Black history for yourself. So Sambaza will set the stage and kick things off with
All
his
right.
pick.
Well, hey, we got this thing going because of the Valentine's Day, and we're talking about Black love. And since we wanted to talk about the special love as Black people, what we have for each other, it made me think, how why don't we do it for Valentine's Day? And today being Valentine's Day, by the way, happy Valentine's to you, Jen, and everybody else who's watching. So what is Black love? I have to do the looking around to see what exactly is Black love, because we hear Black love being thrown around, and what I've found is Black love is unapologetic. Black love is nurturing. Black love is caring. Black love, right, is what every couple that is out there wants to strive on. And as Black people, we have a lot of things that are in the background, like we struggle to do a lot of things, and just with whatever goes on around, we always come up and show up, and we always are there for each other. Now, I went back in history, and because it's Black History Month, we started looking at some of the famous couples. Because in the time of civil rights, when you're looking at how people are actually focused on fighting for the rights of the Black people and the minorities, let me say the minorities, it takes a special person to be able to be out there running around, and then you have your mate waiting for you at home. Now, you can imagine some of these people, and I'll give an example. Medgar Evans, who there's a book out there which has been written by Joey Reid, and it explains to the person if you really want to read it, it explains to you how their life was, how their marriage was, and how they actually went through the motions of fighting for the rights of what they had wanted. And it's really tough, because you can imagine, you do not know. Oh, Medgar Evers, yes, Medgar Evers, who we have out there on the screen now. You can imagine that your man leaves the house, he goes, and you have no idea whether he's going to come back in the night, or whether he's going to, whether that'll be the last time you see him.
Mhm.
um Malcolm X and his wife, Shabazz, they also had that type of relationship. And not forgetting Martin Luther King, um, with his lifestyle, and how he would walk about and go through all these um, trials, but still maintain a household. Now, if we're talking about Black love, that's real Black love over there. Now, I'm going historical about what Black love is all about to me, as an African, as I've studied it so far. And I think it's very, very resilient to have people like those, um, who are always in this type of, let me say, turmoil, in the background, but yet still stand strong with the family and hold their family values and stand up for the minorities, and at the same time stand up for the one most thing, family values. Most of one thing that I'll say is love. Love conquers all. So if we're talking about love conquers all, I think in my perspective, that is Black love. Now, Jen will take us through what I call a wonderful love story that everyone loves to hear about and captures, I think, the essence of Black love in modern times. Go ahead, Jen.
And thank you for sharing that information. Yeah, I was just thinking about how someone today, or like even myself, having a partner that was so involved in the movement and, being supportive and things like that, it definitely had to be a trying ask, to be supportive and to sit back and, basically play your position in a supportive way. And contribute where necessary. So yeah, definitely. But um again, thank you for sharing that great information. So I wanted to talk about Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee, who you may recall them as actors, and actually actors, playwrights, writers, and members of the civil rights movement as well. So they Ruby Dee and Ozzie Davis were iconic figures in American history. They are known for their contributions to the entertainment industry, civil rights, like I mentioned, and their enduring partnership, because a lot of they actually work together in a lot of their roles. So a lot of, I'll tell you my favorite ones here in a minute. But Ozzie Davis, his early life, he grew up in Georgia. He was in the Army. He attended Howard University, and that's where he began his acting career. And he quickly gained recognition for his talent on the stage and screen. Ruby Dee grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. Her acting career started in the 1940s, and she gained prominence for her roles in theater, in film, and television. And some of her notable works include A Raisin in the Sun. She appeared in the Broadway play and the film adaptation. I've seen that film, the black and white film, A Raisin in the Sun, oh my God, probably 20 times or more. My sister is a big Lorraine Hansberry, Black history buff. And so that A Raisin in the Sun, written by Lorraine Hansberry, Ruby Dee played in the film version, which I encourage everybody to look up and check that out. I'm not sure where you could find it nowadays, but I'm sure it's somewhere out there, and it's a really great movie, the black and white film version. They did actually remake with Puff Daddy and Felicia Rashad a couple years back, if you remember.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You remember that? When
Yeah,
Puff Daddy
yeah.
played Sidney Poitier's part, because it has Sidney Poitier and Felicia Rashad played the mother in the remake, which that was actually really good too. But the black and white version was just really good because those actors, Sidney Poitier, Ruby Dee, it was just incredible. Okay,
about black and white.
It really is. I don't know. Do you like black and white movies?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes I get the hang of it, and I'm like, hey,
definitely. I have a sister who always had me watching old black and white movies, growing up. And I'm like, what are we watching? Why are we watching? But you kind of appreciate, not only the acting, but just like the whole quality of films and things like that. So that's a good one. Speaking of Black history, and then the play A Raisin in the Sun clearly is a classic. If you know, you know. So anyway, Ruby Dee was in that, of course, was what we mentioned it. She was also in the Jackie Robinson story, and you may recall American Gangster with Denzel Washington in the early 2000 or 2007 to be exact. And Ozzie Davis appeared in, a whole host of films, including Do the Right Thing. They actually was in that one together. That's one of my favorite ones where they were together. Do the Right Thing. He was the mayor who was kind of like drunk all the time and stuff like that. and
Love that movie.
she'll be sitting in the window yelling at him, and that's her husband. So in real life. So that was pretty cool. And then Jungle Fever, he was in that. And they said he was in Malcolm X. I'm trying to remember, but he was in so many Spike Lee movies. They had to be probably good friends because he was in so many Spike Lee movies. But them and Do the Right Thing is like classic.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but
Do
they
the Right
did a,
Thing is a classic. That
it is. It
you
really
can't.
is. Um, yeah, I remember going to see that as a little kid, and then watching it later. As an older adult, you kind of understand like what's going on with the racial tension in the neighborhood, but of course you got the culture, the '90s, the outfits, and just kind of like everything that's going on. The little neighborhoods in New York is so New York. Yeah, it's like a whole, like it's like a culture piece,
So let me
totally.
throw this in. For me, when I watched Do the Right Thing, I was actually older. I was in my
Hmm.
20s, so
Okay.
it 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 was. I had no idea. I could not. It was just a movie, a Spike Lee
Like the
movie.
deeper meaning of
Yeah,
what was going
yeah.
on, because if you think about it, like just getting into it, the whole police brutality piece, that's kind of like, and this is the '90s, right?
Right.
That kind of reminds you of what went on with George Floyd, and some of the other black men we've lost to incidents with the police. In Spike Lee depicted that in the '90s. You know what I mean? And so, but of course, we had the Rodney King incident in the '90s. So, it's really just kind of really deep film, because not only you have this character and his little love life or story going on, you
Mhm.
have the racial tension of the neighborhood. It's hot, it's like a heat wave, and that's
Oh
kind of like
yeah.
and that kind of like is the underline of why people are kind of on edge, because
Hmm.
it's so hot. You always hear that when it get hot outside, crime goes up. I don't know if that's
That's
just
true.
like a St.
Nah,
Louis
it's true.
thing.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
It's true. Yeah.
What is up with that? But that was a thing. So yeah. Any
Okay.
other thoughts on that?
Oh no, no, no. I was just trying to chime in regarding the movie because you talked
Uh,
about the movies. Yeah, it was
yeah.
kind of one of those movies that like, yeah, that's a classic. You gotta
It
watch that.
is. It
Yeah.
is for the culture, for real.
Right.
So that was when they were in together, and then he also was a writer and director. He wrote several plays, including Pearly, Victorious, and Cotton Comes to Harlem. Cotton Comes to Harlem. He wrote that one.
Hmm.
And he also addressed social societal issues and the African American experience. We had someone join us, but they're not there anymore. I know I invited a few people. If you are watching us on YouTube, be sure to like, share, tell a friend. I just want to throw that in there. This will be out, to recall later. And of course, we'll have the audio on all the platforms that you check out podcasts, but we actually are airing this live on a few platforms this evening in celebration of Valentine's Day. So, yeah, that is something that we're excited about as well. But back to Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee.
Hmm.
Another reason why I selected them, they were really active in the civil rights movement. They were close friends with Martin Luther King,
Hmm.
and she used her platform to advocate for racial and societal justice. She participated in marches, the March on Washington, as several of the marches and protests they definitely were hands on and a part of. And I love that they did that. Let me show a picture, and they also documented their love story. Like, how cool is that? They've both passed away now, but they wrote a book which which is just really sweet.
About their love life.
I mean, this is their whole story, being in the industry.
Hmm.
And let me show a little image of that because it's pretty cute. Let's see. And again, if you're watching the YouTube, be sure to like, share, tell a friend. And we appreciate the ones who are checking us out on that platform.
Oh, that's so
So this is
good.
them older. It was called In This Life Together.
Uh-huh.
Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee, and so they were actually wrote a memoir of their life. So I want to say early 2000s. This book came out, and actually it's on January of 2000. It came out, and they celebrated 50 years of marriage at that time, and so they how sweet is that?
That's
to
hey, that's black love right there.
It
Like you said,
is. It really
a
is. And
long time.
how sweet, to leave that legacy, you know, that is out there for the world, as well as all of the great work that they did. Actually, you know what? We have a comment. Um, he's so silly. You see the comment that
No, I can't
someone
see the comments.
you can't see the comment. Okay.
Wait. Okay, I gotta go here. Okay.
Shout out to our dear friends in the C4 Collective. Looks like Crate Digger had stopped through. So we appreciate the ones who are watching. I know I invited a friend. So if you guys are watching us, thank you guys. We appreciate you guys. Yeah, so be sure to check out, leave us some feedback. We appreciate that for sure. But this challenge, we the first episode we talked about trailblazers. This week we are talking about Black love and what it meant, to kind of celebrating some of the Black love couples in history. Any other thoughts on Black love and other couples?
Can I throw in this?
Yeah.
Okay. There is the movie. This is where the first African American people were kissing in the movie. And this happened, it was an 1896 short film by William Selling called Something Good Negro Kiss.
That's the name of the movie?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
actually, it had to be found from the archives, and what it does depict is that there was love, because at most around that time, I'm assuming, right, at that time, based on my, I have a strong assumption that around that time they would think of the African American person not having affection, not being able to show love. But here we're looking at 1898, where it is being shown that people have affection. It's not what you thought that they were, just ordinary people that you could manipulate on, or do what you like. So it was an independent person, and then you have two people kissing out. Like maybe it was a Valentine kiss. Who knows?
Okay. Okay, we'll have to look that up. Be sure to share that detail to me so I can look that up. I'll be interested to look that up. I know we're talking about old black and white movies and things like that. I know some of the ones that feature black Americans. A good one is Dorothy Dandridge and Harry Belafonte. I think that was actually in color, the one I'm thinking about. Carmen. That's a good one. Speaking of old movies. Yeah.
So, in totality, when we look at Black love, what's your perception of Black love, having gone through all this that we've talked about right now?
Definitely. The first thing that comes to mind is partnership. Okay, so if we're Black couples have experienced everything from slavery through the civil rights movement, and seeing Obama become the president, and partnership is what comes to mind. Someone who has your back and will get you through with all of these things that life throws at you. and will support you. So partnership comes to mind. I think that's why Black people have been so dynamic, because we have had, the Black family to support us in those times of trials and tribulations.
So it is mostly, I'm going to say, okay, for me, I look at it as it's a trust,
Mhm.
believing, understanding, and also, the through thick and thin part. I know you do your work by accident. Mostly, it features things that are that are happening regarding people treated unfairly with the justice
Mhm.
system, and it goes part to explain a lot about what circumstances are, what comes up into how men and also women get affected with how the law treats us.
Right.
Um, and in its sense, when you talk about black love, I think, um when you go back home, like, for example, we all have kids. When they come back home, they're in their safe place. you know
Mhm.
when your child goes out, you never know what's going to happen, especially,
True.
like today. um uh I want to pour my heartfelt condolences to the people who got hurt, and there was a fatality today at the parade
Yes,
for
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Now, this is what I'm talking about. You let your kid go out there, or you let your person, your loved one, go out there, and they never come back. Out of
Mhm.
just something good. And this is what is a fear that we have, right? But we trust our love in God, and our trust that our kids will do right, and that you know when they'll always come back home. And when they come back home, you give them a hug and say, you know what, it's nice to have you at home. You may not even give them a hug, but still, there's that sort of affection or relief that you get in your heart. Or, like, say, for example, your loved one, let's say they're getting late from where they're from. You make a call. Technology is different nowadays. You have the lives, you can call, you can trace.
Mhm.
You can imagine, if you go back to 1960, 1950, you had to go stop somewhere and make a phone using the phone booth.
Mhm.
And those are the other differences that have changed through time. But hey, the love is still there. We still have black love running through our veins.
That's true. And I'm just thinking, you kind of put that out there, that back then, let's say, you're one of the spouses or partners of someone in the movement, and they're out traveling. You never knew if something was going to happen, and you
Right.
would just basically be waiting for a knock on the door, probably from the police, informing you that your loved one, and that can happen to us any day. So yeah. um
And I want to throw in, like, Medgar Evans.
mhm,
I think he got shot on his doorstep
he
when the
did.
wife went to open
Yes.
up, found him there. And I was thinking that their house. This is the if you go read the book, because I was listening to NPR, and that's where I got excerpts of the book.
Okay.
That their house was built in a certain way that you had to come through the back, so that there was some type of security, that they were able to see who's coming in and going in the
Hmm.
house. So, I mean, a lot of there are a lot of things that come up when we're talking about love. But um, I like the fact that when we talked about the last part, um, on love, where you have actors who are, you know uh, in the limelight. And first of all,
Hmm.
they also get into the civil rights movement, and also on
Yes,
top of that, they live their life. And then imagine 50 years being together. That's a long time,
it
actually.
is.
Yeah. And a lot of
It
people go through changes.
is.
So, that being said, do you believe in it?
Do I believe in?
Black love.
I believe in black love for sure.
Hmm.
Definitely. I mean, I witnessed it with my family. My parents, who have both passed on. They were married for almost 40 years. So, um, Yeah. So, when I was in a house with it, I was blessed to, grow up in a house with Black love, and a family, dynamic like that. Some people don't have that, and, you know, so I definitely believe in it and feel that it's real. So, for sure.
Okay. So, um, what more do you have to tell us today? With this
Yeah,
one?
so we're actually going to go ahead and wrap it up and get in gear for next week. And actually, Sabaza posed that we could continue this on a bit past February because Black History, as we said, is not just February. It's really should be acknowledged 365, or we as a people can acknowledge it 365. So we may continue this on a few more weeks. Oh,
No, Dominic
not the,
is not here.
we may continue this challenge a few more weeks. If Sambaza is game, I'm certainly game.
Oh, I'm game.
We have our Black History champions in the audience. So I feel that we definitely could continue this on. To kind of recap, we talked about the dynamics of Black love in history. And shout out to the people who've joined us this evening: Crate Digger, Dominic Lawson, with the Black is America podcast. Shout out to that podcast, The Healing Session. Denise is in the house. We appreciate you guys for joining us so much, for sure. In this episode, while we're live this evening, it will be available, let's say Monday, on all of your favorite streaming platforms for podcasts. So check us out, the audio version on Monday, but you will be able to check us out here. We may not be live next week because that kind of gives me a little anxiety, but I think we did pretty good.
Why? There's no need for anxiety.
I mean, no,
we'll
it was
get.
good.
We'll just. I think. Here's the thing. We'll just get through it. This is just the first time we're starting off.
Okay.
And I think as we go along, we'll experience more of live and then kind of get used to it. I remember I did my live a couple of weeks on Instagram, and that was kind of a new thing. So as you get along, we'll probably get much more better at it.
I mean, I don't know, it's just a personal thing that kind of gives me anxiety. Like, I'm not trying to be on Instagram like that, but this is different because it's a little more control, so I don't feel so anxiety, but just a little bit. Just a little bit.
So my anxiety comes with the fact that I'm usually running late to come and get onto the show. That's what my only anxiety. But other than that, man, it's been fun. It's been fun. Great.
Okay, good. Yeah. And you have really helped ease that, and and I really feel passionate about this topic, so I definitely was trying to not let that get the best of me. So yeah, so just like as we talked about Medgar Evers and his family dynamic, as well as you mentioned Betty Shabazz, Malcolm X, and the Kings, obviously, who represent, definitely a great representation of a supportive relationship while going through the trials and turmoil of the civil rights movement, and having that other partner to kind of balance you and empower you. You talked about, what does Black love mean to you? So I think definitely I said partner, but someone that empowers you, and when you kind of are down, they kind of bring you up. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So yeah, definitely. You mentioned trust, and then we wrapped it up talking about Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee, who were a really great acting duo. They have both passed on, but they have marked and documented their love story in a beautiful autobiography called In This Life Together, that is available on Amazon and places where books are sold. That would be awesome, like if they turn that into a play or something. It probably has been, I don't know, because they're just so dynamic, and their film careers are just really awesome. Like I mentioned, watching the black and white version of A Raisin in the Sun
Raising the
with
Sun.
Ruby Dee, and it's just really a classic. I'm not even sure where you can pull that up. I'm not even sure if it's on Hulu or Netflix because it's really old, but it's a
Probably get
great
in the
one.
library. Probably get in
Yeah,
the library or
maybe
something
hit the
like
library or something like that.
that.
Okay, Ed Campbell's in the house. Shout out to brother Ed in the house. Okay, all right, guys. Now I'm starting to get nervous again.
Why are you getting nervous? You're just
No, no, really. But no, we're kind of wrapping it up, and we can kind of just freestyle for a bit. We did talk about the dynamics of some great black couples in history, in the culture, in recognition of Valentine's Day and Black History Month, and we talked about Betty Shabazz, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers and his wife, his widow, who definitely carried on the torch and his legacy of um, fighting for justice for Black people. And we talked about Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee, who also were a big part of the civil rights movement. So
yeah,
I love
I
that.
think that book, the book by Joy Reid, is something that people should go read about.
Yeah.
I really want to read about it because, like I said, I'm new to not I'm new, but I'm trying to learn more of the history. So as it comes, I take it a little bit at a time and then learn more. So every day is a lesson to me. So like I said, if you can get the book by Joy Reid, just go ahead, grab it and read it. Hopefully, maybe Dominic might turn it into one of his series and talk about it. You know, like, oh, you remember last week he did when we talked about the guy with the mask, like the elephant. What they call it, like the elephant trunk.
Garrett Morgan.
Garrett Morgan. There you go. And lo and behold, he did it and worked on it on his Black is America. So I was
Yeah,
ecstatic about it, him having done that. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty
definitely.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a beautiful job on that. I'm excited to listen to the full episode. And guys, please look up Black is America podcast. That is a great representation of narrative podcasting and talks about great stories in Black history, and it just really kind of brings it to life. And it's really excellent. So, we want to acknowledge some additional comments that we have. Hello, Interesting, which is our good sis, good, clean sis, Demita. Shout out to her. And we have LP in the house.
LP.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, Dominic. Hey, thank you. Appreciate you guys for popping in. We actually have 6 people. Getting nervous again. Oh my god.
Okay. You know what? Don't look at who's there. Just look at the comments and then go on. Hey,
Yeah, for
like in
sure,
the
for sure.
like in the morning.
Yeah, but no, we were talking about just reflecting on Black love. Do you believe in it? You asked me, do I believe in it? Do you believe in it, Sabaza?
Oh yeah, I believe in it. Well, but me, I come from African love. The hard African love where, um, it is emotional. It's there, but I think let me put it on my perspective. Okay, I'm married to an African American, so I have to the way that I grew up as a man is slightly going to change to the way
Okay.
I behave towards a woman in the United States, right? So my version of black love as I was growing up is different from what I am learning right now with my wife. My black love is it's wonderful, you know.
Okay.
I'm still dating my wife. It's been I think it's going on to 15 years now,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah,
Okay.
and the one thing I say is that uh, with life it changes. So and that's one thing about the love, which I also read about black love. And this guy was in his 40s. He was talking about what love is all about. Through
Hmm.
all the changes, we're all going to experience some changes in our lives. So as we go through our changes, if our partner agrees to those changes and adapts those changes, that's what black love is. And to the younger guys out there, when you have to keep dating, you know That's all
Okay.
part of black love. You gotta date your wife every once in a while.
Come
For me,
on,
yeah.
Sabasa.
Hey,
Better
hey,
let them know. But yeah,
gotta,
for sure.
yeah. So
Definitely.
that's my version of black love. I didn't see much of it when I was growing up around my house,
Okay.
my house, or when I was growing up, because uh in the African perspective, it's the actions, not other things. It's not really the so when you come to America, you have to change the way you behave. So I
I
had to adapt, and
see.
then gotta get with the program.
I heard that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what's up to
Wait
me.
a minute. And so Demita said in the comments, yes, date night. Tell it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Samantha, look at you. I
I
think,
could smell something good when I walked into the house.
oh, did you?
Yep.
Okay, and I have apologies to the queen for embarking on you guys' Valentine's Day. But I know you said you guys are going to celebrate on the weekend. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We usually do that on the weekend, and now
Okay.
we add the kids too, so it's
I know
more.
you guys, you're taking the kids back and forth
Yeah,
to
so
activities and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, that's, when I thought of you guys, I definitely feel the black love in the way that you guys speak about your family and making sure your kids are cultured and a part of activities and including your spouse. So I appreciate that for sure. Definitely. And I can relate. I think I've been married a little bit longer than you, but but yeah.
Oh, there we go.
But I don't meet that many people that have been married that long. So I tip my hat. 15 years. That's yeah.
If you're longer than I am, that's a
I
long
am.
time.
I don't want to kind of keep that on the.
No, 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 it's okay. It's okay.
But yeah.
I know, and when we talk about length, it takes it's a process. It's a process.
It is. And like you said, it's important to, even though it's been a long time, to treat things new and keep those date nights rolling. And
Hey,
I like to think of it like the old Brian McKnight song, Start Back at One,
there we go.
because he's like, it's like, all these things he's naming off. I think the song is like so romantic, first of all. And then he says, and then you start back at one. You know what I mean? Like, I just love that. I think that's so dope. Like,
Mhm.
oh,
Uh-huh. Cool.
the
Yeah.
lyrics to that song just really get me. It's an old song, but I just think it's really sweet. So,
All right.
any favorite love songs as we wrap it up since we have an audience?
You already captured mine. Started one.
Do you like that song?
Oh yeah, I do. Brian McKnight was
Okay.
one of my favorite singers.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, the
Okay.
one. I think it was the last one. There was one that he sang. It's pretty new. Uh,
Be Without You.
yep, that's the one.
Okay, that's a really good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's yours? Give me one of yours.
So I usually like old songs. Like I'm a big old school head. So I'm just thinking about like some Rick James. Rick James and Tina
Rick
Marie.
James. Okay, no,
Yeah,
you gotta give me a no, no. Okay, now if you're gonna talk about Rick James, you gotta give me a song from Rick James, a romantic song, because I
Fire and Desire, even though
find desire.
technically he
Uh,
was kind of talking about
yeah, see, there we go.
but no, it's still a beautiful love song.
Okay.
Demita says Sade has some beautiful love
Oh yeah.
songs.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
You can't beat Sade. That one,
for
she'll.
sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
those are the singers.
Um, Wait a minute,
What
what,
about
what did he?
Maxwell? Maxwell.
Oh, you know what? I used to love "Fortunate" by Maxwell. That was like my a really big song that I liked.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw this one out, and people, this is gonna come off from the African perspective, right? There's a guy in Tanzania called Mbosso. Y'all not gonna understand his songs because they're in Swahili, but I'll tell you this: they are great love songs.
Okay,
He is a like the way you talk about Brian McKnight. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
singer on stage, but he speaks in Swahili, and that dude can.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, top notch, top notch.
Okay, Reggie's in the house. Okay, he said they don't know about John B. That's a great love song
Oh yeah,
too.
John B. Yeah, 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 yeah. They don't know about it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like
that's
one of my
cool.
favorite non-melanated singers.
There you go.
Yes. Okay, you know Reggie was in the house. Come on now. Tell me the name of your podcast. I'm gonna have to look it up. But Reggie has a really dynamic podcast with some great uplifting strategies and things like that. So maybe he'll shout it out in the chat so we can mention that for you guys listening as we celebrate Black History Month and Black I was gonna say Black Love Day. Valentine's Day. Love Day. Yeah.
So Black History Month, Black Love. That's what we're talking about today.
We are.
It comes out like a promo, right? Okay. So what do we do? What do we have for next week? Do you have a recap of next week? What are we talking about next week?
So, and if you guys don't know, we have been doing this little Black History challenge with between each other, and we've been challenging you guys to dig into Black history too. And then we just kind of had a theme for each episode. Last week we did trailblazers, and so this week we're talking about Black love and kind of celebrating Black love figures. We talked about Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee and Betty Shabazz and Malcolm X. And so next week, we kind of had an idea about a hometown person.
I found one. By the way, I found in the morning. I found in the morning when I was going to the gym. So
okay,
yeah, so I gotta do some research on that one. But
are you want to still
okay?
So we can put that one in the can, and maybe you want to do like sports or arts or something like that.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. We can do anything really.
Maybe that would probably make it a continuation because I mean there are a lot of things.
Because what were the other categories that we had said? We said hometown heroes. We did trailblazers.
Because we already did the trailblazers, so I think it's hometown heroes. We can go.
And we had hidden figures was supposed to be another one.
We can finish with the hidden figures.
Okay, so.
And who are the hidden figures, by the way? Just it's like the people who are out there, who are on the background that people don't
right.
see.
So the way it's described is uncover lesser known stories of remarkable Black individuals who have made a significant contribution to society. So kind of like the ladies in the movie Hidden Figures, they were responsible for all of that scientific calculations for NASA, and they really didn't get, or a lot of people didn't even know they were responsible for that work. And you see how they were treated too, with all of that work and, brain power that they, did,
So that's one of the ones that's coming up. But next week, you think what you think we're gonna throw in next week? You're gonna do hidden figures, or we're gonna do the hometown hero?
Let's do the hometown hero. That sounds fun. Okay. Okay. And then shout out to Reggie. He did give us the name of his podcast, Growth Times Infinity Podcast. So a couple of podcasts to shout out. I know Hello Interesting. I don't know if you've dropped that one yet, Demita, but I know you've got content. And we have Dominic Lawson with the Black is America podcast. We have Al P and the MPN Network. Please look up that network and all the great content and podcasts that are part of that. And then we also have Reggie, who is responsible and the creator of the Growth Times Infinity podcast, which has really a lot of like manifestation and uplifting positivity type of information on his podcast. And I know I enjoy his content. Shout out to Al Pete. All right now.
Don't forget Crate. Don't forget Crate.
Oh, and Crate Digger, who has great content on
Twitch.
Twitch.
Don't forget
And
that.
as well as the website, cratedigger.com, you can find really great mixes and really great content, some great merch, t-shirts, and all of the like. Don't forget
There's all that.
Brother Ed with the One Love movement. He's a good supporter and friend. We S Squared is around. He's in the group chat with the Dripping in Black Productions.
Yep.
Everybody, Lisa, Dr. Lisa, Black Woman, Black Stitch. Okay, so yeah, we appreciate all of our good friends and creators. You know, this definitely is we support creators around here. So we are going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Looking at the time. Any final thoughts, or tell us the name of your podcast, Sambaza?
Sambaza Podcast is the podcast, and I'm the host by the name of Sambaza. And like I said, we have a lot to give to the community. And you just hop onto my show and listen. It's really, really interesting. You just have to go into the show. I'm not going to explain too much, but once you get in, you'll kind of stick in there with the stories that are out there. Mostly series and quite fun series that you can listen to. If you have any questions, you can hit me up at sambazapodcast@gmail.com, and you can listen to the podcast on any platforms that are available out there. And that's in a short snippet of what my podcast is. But I also want to thank the people who are out there who support us, like the team who give us input in doing all this. I just want to give my shout outs to all of them. Yep.
Definitely. And Sambaza, I am waiting on my invitation to the show. We would love to be a part. I don't know if you have to be from another country. I think you do, right?
the thing, this is what happens to the podcast. Okay. With Sambaza Podcast, I have to create a series and then curate it with people to bring them to the show. So as much as I have ideas, I have to sit down, curate the shows, and then piece it out together. Then I can call people and say, hey, you want to come on my show? This is what you want to talk about. So it's one of those things that I have to kind of work on. I can't just, hey, come on my show.
Okay. So is that a no?
It's not no. It's like I'm waiting for when we get topics and we're going to discuss topics. And I say, oh, Jen, this is a great topic that I want you to come on to, and we'll discuss about it. And I'll throw you in. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds great. We will hold you to that, friend. Okay. So as we wrap it up, and on this very lovely and fine Valentine's Day, let's not forget the importance of self-love and self-care, and the importance of that. So, and how it contributes to building healthy and fulfilling relationships. So you definitely want to stress that. You know, definitely have to love yourself if you're going to bring anything into a relationship, as we are speaking on Black love and wrapping this beautiful conversation up. And we hope you've enjoyed this journey through Black love, as we discussed about couples and what they have endured, leaving a legacy of resilience, strength, and unwavering love, and celebrating Black excellence. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Happy Black History Month. Happy Valentine's Day. And be sure to tap into some Black history for yourselves. We challenge you guys to do that. Look up some Black history and those little known facts for yourself, and come back and see us. So take care, guys.
All right.